Hey everybody and Happy New Year! Welcome to my new YouTube page. My name is Kayla and you might or might not have come here through my Instagram. I've promoted it on that account, so if you are here from that, awesome. If not, even awesomer. Anyway, I'm excited that you're here because I will be posting a lot of book reviews, movie reviews, book hauls, and anything of the such. And I am super excited to get started, and hopefully this will be my motivation to read a little bit more because last year I didn't do too much reading. To start, I'll tell you a bit about myself. So my name is Kayla and I'm 14 years old. I've been reading for as long as I can remember. But the first book series that really got me hooked was the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Now if you don't know what that series is, I'm not going to question whether or not you've been living under a rock. Anyway, that book series is about a boy named Percy Jackson who finds out that his dad is actually the Greek god Poseidon. And he goes on these adventures and quests with Annabeth, daughter of Athena, and Grover, who's his satyr friend. And it's an amazing book series, and it really opened up my eyes to reading different genres because I always used to read those rainbow magic books, the fairies and the Jack Frost and the... always. Like, those are the only books I read. And then I read Percy Jackson. So that book really got me interested in reading. The second series I read that really got me hooked was the Gone series by Michael Grant, which is about these kids who are stuck inside a bubble. No one over the age of 15 lives there anymore. No one outside can get in. And so basically these kids have to learn how to survive until they can get saved. And there's this evil creature living there who's trying to thwart all of their good plans, and of course there's the bad guy who isn't actually evil but acts like it. They're just amazing reads. The world definitely is amazing. The way Michael Grant has crafted these characters is stunning. And if you haven't read those, because they aren't as much of a popular series, go read them now. I will have links to that in the description box because you just need to read them. Okay, well, I guess that's a little bit about my reading background. So I'm going to get started on my book haul for this month. The first book on my to-read list is Marie Antoinette's Serial Killer by Katie Allender. Now this book is about a girl named Colette who goes to France to learn about her background and to sightsee and to learn about France. Yet in France there are murders going on and everyone is on edge and no one can really relax because of it. Colette knows that her friends aren't going to help her because they're all popular and status obsessed, as says the back of the book. And so she gets help from a French boy to learn about what's going on because this murderer looks suspiciously like Marie Antoinette. And so her and the boy, whose name is not mentioned on the back of the book, go and seek out the truth. Now this book reminds me vaguely of Pretty Little Liars because I am really into the murder and the statuses and the popularity factor that some authors can write about, like Sarah Shepard, for instance. I've read every single one of her books besides Pretty Little Secrets, which will probably be on my to-read list next month because I won't have time this month with exams and whatnot. So this is my first book on my to-read list, Marie Antoinette Serial Killer by Katie Allender. The second book on my to-read list is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Now I have already read this book and it is an amazing book and I loved it with all of my soul, but I have to read it again for my book club. Now I don't know how I feel about having to read this again because I cried a lot the first time I read it and there's no doubt I'm going to cry again. But I don't mind because this book has the most intricate detail. This book is about a girl named Hazel Grace who goes to a support group for cancer patients because she herself is one, of course. And she meets a boy named Augustus Waters. And because of Augustus, her story is about to be completely rewritten. That is a quote from inside the book cover. I've memorized it, yes. But it's just an amazing read. It's altogether amazing and I'm you can say I'm excited to read it again. The next book on my to-read list is also another John Green novel. This book is entitled An Abundance of Catherines, and I am extremely excited to read this because it is the only John Green standalone that I haven't read yet, besides Will Grayson with David Leviathan and Let It Snow with Maureen Johnson. Those I will also want to get to at some point. But for now, this is the only one by John Green alone that I have not read. Now, this book is about a boy named Colin who goes on... This book is about a boy named Colin who has only dated Catherine's, 19 to be exact, and he always gets dumped. So Colin goes on a journey to prove the theorem of underlying Catherine predictability to try and prove how the relationship is going to end, and to avenge dumpies everywhere, and maybe finally get him the girl. Now, this book sounds funny, and it won a Michael L. Prince Award for Excellence in Young Adult Literature, so sounds pretty good. The next book I'm going to read is Impulse by Ellen Hopkins. Now, this book is a bit more mature, so if you don't handle mature subject matter well, I wouldn't suggest you read this because the book is about 3 kids, Tony, Connor, and Vanessa, who tried to commit suicide. Now, this book by Ellen Hopkins is written in free verse, which is poetry style writing. Looks like this. I'm a big fan of Ellen Hopkins, and I accidentally read Perfect, the second book in the duo of Impulse Perfect, before I read this one, so I'm going to finally get to this one, which I'm excited to do because I love Ellen Hopkins again. And the last book on my to-read list is Splinter by A.G. Howard. Now, this book is about a girl named Alyssa Gardner who begins to hear things from plants and insects around her. And the only reason she thinks she might not be going mad is because her great-great-great-grandmother, Alice, was the one who told Lewis Carroll the idea for Alice in Wonderland. So, to prove she's not crazy, she goes down into Wonderland to try and make sense of it all. Now, this book is a Disney retelling, or not Disney, well, it is a fairy tale retelling kind of thing. So I am extremely hooked into those books who can successfully take grim fairy tales or fairy tales of any kind and rewrite them. So this book I'm definitely excited to read. That's all for this video. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I will see you again next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and have a Happy New Year!